Welcome back to another episode of 5 Minutes With. I'm your host, Ross Stockdale, owner and fractional chief marketing officer at Thunderstock Marketing. Today, my guest is Brian Dudek. He is a VP of cyber strategy at VDA Labs, which is in the information technology industry. Brian, do you want to tell me a little bit about how you got started and what you're doing?
So how I got started overall in IT, I'm assuming, or how I got started in this
Yeah.
job.
Yeah, a little bit of both.
So I got started in IT way back in the early 90s when I was working on mainframes and dumb terminals. And it just kind of avalanched from there. I just really realized that I love technology and I love to learn. And I went to school and got started as a network tech right after school, and then climbed up into a network engineer and architect side of things. It was a great run. Did about 13, 14 years as a manager, and now here I am doing managing and security. So it keeps me on my toes.
Awesome. What makes your company or your role in the company unique in your industry?
A lot of times organizations a lot of organizations specialize in one thing or another. Where we focus on is security, and it's a very niche area that a lot of companies need, and there's just not a lot of organizations that really lead with security, which is a really big challenge today, because security is tied into everything from an information technology perspective. It's tied into networking. It's tied into infrastructure. It's tied into storage. It's tied into documentation. It's tied into data. So being able to lead with security right out the gate gives us the capability of being able to bake security into the solutions that we sell and provide.
Wonderful. So what excites you the most about your industry? What gets you, fired up for the day?
Oh, it's the change. I don't think that I could be part of any kind of career if I wasn't going Mach 5 with my hair on fire. I mean, there's always constant change in this industry. It's amazing. If you go back probably about 20 years ago, and if you talked about security back then, it really was just kind of like a blip. There was hardly anybody talking about it. Now, the security is front and center in the news. It's front and center in IT overall. We've got tens of thousands of new graduates graduating with IT degrees now, and everybody wants to get into the industry. It's definitely one of those things that I love the change and I love the challenge of this industry. And here I am in my mid 50s. Here I am in my early 50s actually, and I don't see myself doing anything more than this for the next 10 to 15 years.
That's awesome to hear. Love a good passion story. So I'm going to go negative on you and ask you the flip side. What is your biggest pet peeve, or what do you not love?
What I don't. Oh, that's a really good question, man. I guess that the biggest thing I don't like is, with all the change that happens, the biggest challenge that you have is to keep up with everything that is changing. And that, I think, is the big. So it's, you can't take the sweet without the sour, right? I mean, you're always going to be learning at a very high clip. But what I don't like is the fact that everything that I had learned from a network engineering and architect perspective, what I grew my career on for years, is really, I'm not saying it's been deprecated, but I just don't use that knowledge as much as I used to, right? I used to be really good at that kind of work, and now that's taken a backseat to the security side of things. And so it's so I guess that's the biggest pet peeve, or the biggest challenge, is that you have to be able to embrace that you're going to pivot in your career. You're going to pivot from one area to another as you grow, and it's okay. You have to just acknowledge it and say it's fine. But I really wish that I was that. Sometimes I wish I was that engineer and architect back in my prime days when I was doing that work. It was very rewarding work at the time, but this work I'm doing is also very rewarding.
That's awesome to hear. Well, everyone, that is it for our short clip on 5 minutes with. We're approaching time. So please, if you have any questions or you want to learn more about IT and security, please reach out. Please reach out to Brian. If you can find their website, vdalabs.com. You can find him on LinkedIn, CB Dudek. And yeah, that is all for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thunderstock Marketing and Ross Stockdale. Until next time, be well.